Match Bingo introduces Live Football Bingo, where events in every English Premier League game can win you prizes for a £1 card. And the fastest full house of the season is worth £20,000. Head to matchbingo.co.uk for more information. Over 18s only. Be gamble aware. Get yourself over to matchbingo.co.uk for more information. And I'm on mute. That's how out of practice I am in presenting these bloody shows. It's a summer. I've got the sun in my face. I've got the beer in my veins. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I don't know why it was on mute because I haven't done a show in a while, as somebody in the chat is just telling me, rightfully so, missing their Talking Town midweek. I do apologise, but hello again, my friends, and you are my friends. Welcome to your Talking Town. I am your host, the Gov. Looking forward to the next insert minutes, insert time. I'm looking forward to seeing where tonight goes. We're going to do the penultimate show of the summer. Next week is our last one, then a couple of weeks off. Then we're back for a new season of championship action, where we're going to be here every step, every kick, every minute of the season. Let's get a couple of comments. Sorry, Sean, I was late again. I know you turned up twice now early to see me because I was on time once. Apologies. Crunches in Rhodes. The only thing redder than his shorts was his face. Love you, Rich. Rich does say, don't forget the curry night on the 24th. I don't think that was actually an open invitation. Sorry, Rich. I think that was just to Colin. But yeah, the boys certainly enjoying themselves on their holiday. Just in a lovely post on Harry Clark's Instagram. Just posting out on the Talking Town Twitter account. Get your eyes round it. We've got lots of people in the chat, actually, for a summer's evening. Love it. Gov, you don't drink. Well, little do you know. Last night I had two beers. Stop the press. The sun was out. I had a Doom Bar and a Southwold Bitter. It was rather refreshing. I've been busy this week. We've been updating the Discord server. Got new channels, new bots, and the same old quality chat. So if you do want to become a Talking Town Fifth Stander and get access to what I would call the greatest community in the world, the Talking Town community, hit the join button on YouTube or head to Ko-Fi. Links in the description. Sign yourselves up, $4.99 a month. Get access to the Discord straight away. And if you are a member already and you haven't had the link or haven't seen the link or haven't got the link, whatever it might be, get in touch with me. Get in contact. Get yourself on there. Even I'm on there now. I'm properly on there. I've posted quite a bit for someone who wasn't on there at all, but should have been. Apologies. I'm properly on there now. So I've done that this week. Do get in touch. Do get onto it. You got the Crunch says Talking Cricket Ashes preview coming soon. Yeah, that is coming soon. I just don't know what to say about that. I've had Rich and Matt in the WhatsApp group all this week. I'm on cricket mode, cricket vibes. It's cricket season. Boy. The media mogul.
We've just lost the teenagers. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Matt Phillips. Cricket season, he claims.
I've been doing a lot of cricket this week. Been down the county ground twice.
Talk to me. So you've been down the obviously Essex County Cricket, that is, right?
Essex Eagles. Yeah.
How are they doing?
I live about 10 minutes away from the ground. Walk. Just walk through the park. You're there. Let me tell you, it's been freezing cold. So Tuesday we played Gloucestershire. I went with 4 layers. End of May, I went with 4 layers. And then Friday we played Hampshire, where we got a good hammering. And I went with 3 layers. But unbeknownst to me, Martin, as I told you, the following morning, someone spilt their entire pint into my lap. IPA.
Unbeknownst to you. Did you not feel a moistness situation?
Yeah, well,
it.
Quite rapid, quite frankly. Yeah. He was chatting to me and then just dropped his entire pint in my lap, which upped the. I was wishing for the 4 layers. It kind of upped the chili steaks. But he was very apologetic. Wanted to buy me a beer. I said, "Look, don't worry, I'll dry it out." But yeah, I hope that I'm going again Tuesday. I'm hoping that won't happen.
Oh, lovely, lovely, absolutely lovely.
Have you ever had a pint poured over you? Probably out of anger. I should imagine.
Yeah, well, no, that was my next qualifying question. Do you mean by accident or on purpose? Because
obviously, no one would ever chuck it over to me on purpose, would they? Because I get on with all people. But yeah, this was by accident. But
you're a man of the people, you, aren't you? That's what it is. You're a man of the people. So what's happening in the cricket world then? Give me, as it's cricket season, as you've been telling me all week on the WhatsApp, give me a little bit of a taste. Yeah. Somebody who doesn't actually care a diddle about cricket.
Well, is this talking cricket now, is it? We got the Ashes starting June 16th, I think. A bit earlier this time.
Are we going to do any well? Are we going to do any good in that this time? Are we going to do well? Are we tipped to do badly?
Sure. Listen. The cruncher and Ian Davis are all over this, but I'd imagine England will do all right. But we're in the middle of the 2020 stuff at the moment. That's when like all the part timers like yourself might rock up. Essex have won 2 and lost 2. They lost today as well. Lost by 11 runs to Somerset. Yeah, it's all gone a bit.
Pretty good, Somerset.
Yeah, pretty good. Never won the county championship, but I mean, in terms of like as a county that might be contending, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Nick Miller says never understood cricket.
That's okay. Never. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Don't be slating people who like it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. I mean, look, you don't like a lot of sports, really, do you?
I don't like the sports where you could fall asleep for 4 days, wake up, and 4 runs have been scored. It's like, what would we do? You don't like relaxing
sports, don't you? Do you? You said you don't like cricket, you don't like golf. What else didn't you like? There was another one in the mix, wasn't there?
It was golf, cricket, snooker.
All 3 great sports. Me and Rich like all the same sports.
All 3.
But you like Formula 1? Do you like Formula 1? That's boring to me.
I don't mind Formula 1. I wouldn't.
I was going around in a circle.
I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way for it. No. But I mean, those 3 sports that I mentioned there, they deserve to be on a shelf next to Antiques Roadshow. To be fair, like slow paced. And I said to you earlier, Antiques Roadshow, when a TV show peaks at its theme tune, you know you've got a slight issue.
You've never watched Antiques all the way through?
Oh, I've watched it. Yeah, I've watched it, and I've tried to think this is not my sort of thing. See, that's the best bit about the TV show. Once you've heard the iconic theme tune, you might as well turn it off. And with cricket, my brother's a big cricket fan, but he always jokes that he likes it because he can fall asleep for 3.5 hours, wake up and nothing's happened. That's going to talk to each other.
Nothing was more exciting than 2005 when we beat Australia for the Ashes. It was on Channel 4 and the whole country was invested. It was great. It was great. I mean, look, the 5 days do tend to come down to like a last session, like 2 hours to get how many runs you might need.
Why was there? I've wasted 4.5 days for the last day. I like playing cricket back in the day. I like playing snooker. I love playing snooker. I've never really played golf to say I would like it or not like it, but watching it, I don't know.
It's good, man.
I don't know. No.
Oh, well. Each to their own, eh? Each to their own.
Cranston, most exciting Ashes since 2005. Yeah. Right. Matthew, we updated the Discord server this week, which was great to see. We've got a couple of things sort of coming from it, sort of transfer rumours that we've posted on there, had some good discussions, so I thought I'd bring them to the community, to the chat.
All I saw was your new rules and regulations.
Oh, you got to love some rules and
Judge
regulations.
Judy.
Oh, no. I'm more like Judge Jerry. Judge Jerry Springer.
That's a good show, Judge Judy. I like it. You wouldn't mess with her, would you?
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
What was the British one? What was the British one? There was a British one, wasn't there? Judge.
You got Judge Rinder.
Oh, Judge Rinder.
Yeah, you got.
That's how he became famous. Judge Rinder.
Yeah, Judge Rinder. Yes. Yeah. Now that I would watch on an afternoon, but I do think as a community we're probably more like Jerry Springer. Who Steve is, I don't know, but there we go. We'll leave that open to the community to find out who our Steve is, our big bodybuilder, bodyguard.
He was born in Britain, wasn't he, Jerry Springer?
Yeah.
And he moved to the States.
Yeah, deeply missed Jerry Springer. A lot of love and respect for Jerry. But anyway, transfer rumours. Yeah, Caden Jackson did star on Judge Rinder Cruncher. You're absolutely right.
We've come full circle.
We have come full circle. You see, we
have your first transfer rumour.
Yes, okay. Yeah, Caden Jackson to rejoin The Judge in the TV show. No, it's not. El Mazzani obviously was posted on various different websites.
Yeah.
Number of teams chasing him. Would you be looking to sell him? And if so, what's a good fee for you? What's a good fee for you, Matthew Phillips, in terms of if you do want to sell Idris?
Yeah, it's always a bit sad, isn't it, when academy products go? Yeah, I would be selling him, absolutely. Does anyone think he's championship ready? He's been very good for Orient this season in League Two, but then so was Aaron Drinan when he dropped down from League One to League Two. And they thought he was the new Messi at Orient as well. So, I mean, look, for his own career, right? Go and be somewhere where you're fan favourite and they love you and they absolutely adore him there. What's a good fee? It's going to be like, what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. Not tribunal. What is it? Like a miscellaneous fee or something. It'd be sort of, I don't know, low six figures, 200, 250 maybe.
Yeah, 250. Yeah, Ben Moore says 250. I've written down 1 to 500,000 on my bit of paper here.
Have you?
Was what
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Championship clubs have been linked with him. Watford and Watford. And there was one other. I thought was another Championship team. I'm thinking. Aberdeen got linked to him as well. Is that as good as League One, the Scottish Premier League? I don't know.
Wickham, Aberdeen, Plymouth, Derby, and Watford. Obviously, Plymouth are now a Championship side, obviously.
Yes, and Derby as well. Go and step up with Leighton Orient. If I was him, absolutely.
Well, I'm surprised to not see that club be the one that's mentioned in amongst that list. You know, Leighton Orient, obviously, players player, managers player of the year, various different awards. Do great with them.
It's great to see him do so well. I mean, look, we've got nothing against these kids. It's just whether or not you're going to be good enough for the journey that we're on. And he's never really commanded a first team spot, has he? Dobber had a little bit of a cameo, and then ended up in the non-league. Go and be where they want you is probably my advice.
The biggest sort of argument I've seen in terms of him remaining a contracted Town player has been let's loan him out to a League One team, see how he gets on, and sort of go from their argument.
No, what would he want to do? What would he? No, that's just looking after our own interests. I think he's done his time now. Go and start afresh. Go and be part of the team that's just been League Two champions, and go and be part of that and see where it takes you.
Yeah, we've got 250 from the Cruncher, 450 from David, 400 from Harps, 350 undisclosed, says Andy. Promotion given, sort of, that's where I was sort of heading with it. Given the competition, I was thinking the more teams entering the fray, the more you can sort of whip up an Antiques Roadshow style bidding war for him. And
like these war medals I've got here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And, well, maybe. I mean, look, I think Ashton would be quite good at doing that. Playing clubs off against them.
You think?
Against each other. Yeah. Who want to buy him. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to be quite fit in the mould we need. I think as we said, if we ever got to the Championship, we'd be fishing in a different pond, shopping in a different supermarket. I go with these analogies all evening. And he's well down the pecking order, is he not? Oh, you've got Luongo getting a new deal. You've got Cameron in the frame. You've got Evans to come back. You've got Morsey in there.
Well, we did
you've
that
got Kamara in there. Yeah. You've probably got Jack Taylor coming in. So at the moment, he's probably 7th out of that abundance of midfield options.
Yeah, sure. Talking of which,
do we really know? I mean, I think he played defensive midfield for him from the guys in our gym who've told me they've really rated at him. Yeah. He's played like the Morsey role, I think, in terms of just like, taking the ball out of defence. And they said, look, he's not got a goal in him, but he's very good at getting the attack side, is the intel I got. So let him go off there and do his thing and see where he could always come back one day when we're in the Premier League and he's ripping it up.
Yeah. So that's one of the conversations you could have got involved in this week on the Discord community channel. We've got a question from Harps here. Would you sign Barley Mumba? Controversial, Harps Perts. Very quickly, yes or no? Would you sign Barley Mumba? I don't think it'd be available because Norwich will probably want to keep hold of him.
Yeah, I mean, look, as a talent, I think he was very good. I mean, look, he scored twice against us, didn't he? Yeah, as a talent, very good. But the fact that no one crosses the Norwich-Ipswich divide, do they? Hasn't happened for years. Other than Gibbs. But in terms of first-team players, Gibbs wasn't a first-team player at that point, was he?
Crooks?
Never happened, though, did it? Decided against it right last second. You ever seen the photo? You seen the photo? Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I wonder how that... Is he still perceived as like some kind of Norwich legend, that guy?
Oh, mate, imagine it. Can you imagine it? You're leaving for your rivals, and then you have the photos, and then you say, actually, nah, change your mind.
Yeah,
You're forever in folklore history.
It was the ultimate payoff to Ipswich, wasn't it? I suppose. So maybe that
Yes.
increased his popularity. But yeah, as a talent, I think Mumba's very good. Yeah, really good player.
That's a classic wrestling Vince McMahon swerve move, isn't it? You know, like you think
Yeah.
you think he's turning heel if you're a Norwich fan, then suddenly he turns babyface. It's like, oh my god!
I'm not sure you could do that. I'm not sure you could do it now because he'd signed on the dotted line, hadn't he? And he had to go to the Premier Leagues for rubber stamping. And he goes, "Oh, actually, I've changed my mind." Be interested to see if that would be. I mean, it's a fair few years ago now, isn't it? 20 years ago.
Yeah, you've had Andy Marshall since then.
If not more, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I wish
Andy
Andy
Marshall.
Marshall changed his mind. Anyway,
What did you always say about Andy Marshall? The backtrack.
he loves a good backtrack as well, Andy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't agree with that signing at the time. I didn't agree with that one. Why did he get signed anyway? I can't even remember.
Trust
Was
me,
Was Serini injured or something? Or Serini?
No, we hadn't signed. No, we hadn't signed Serini at that point. We hadn't signed. And obviously, he hadn't done Webster's goalkeeper training school or something like. Hadn't he got a connection with Malcolm Webster as a goalkeeping head coach at the time? And obviously, that was the link. I don't know, something like that. But as a budgie breeder,
what prompted? Someone got injured, didn't they? Brannigan.
No, Wright was sold.
Wright was sold, and what happened to Keith Brannigan? He was the backup, wasn't he? I wish Cruncher was there. He'd tell us.
Like 102 years old, Matt. I mean, you're only going to go into a Premier League season, put 2.0 with Keith Brannigan.
It turned heads, that move. Let me tell you, that did turn some heads. Andy Marshall.
What? Andy Marshall signing or Keith Brannigan not playing as number one?
Oh, Keith Brannigan, obviously. No, Andy Marshall, clearly.
Just making sure we're clear. Yeah, I'm making sure we're clear. But look, as a budget breeder, I can see a flap when I know a flap, and Marshall will love the flap.
Of course,
in his
yeah.
box. Absolutely.
Expert knowledge.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Only here on Talking Town. Andy says, if only Serini didn't want to break. Oh yes, that was Redbridge in the FA Cup.
I was at that game. Yeah. I like Serini. I don't know why people got on the back of Serini and Finidi George. They were good players. I just feel like they've got made scapegoats.
The thing is, then that was a really like sort of oh my god. But now, I mean, you got second goalkeeper playing FA Cup finals for crying out loud. Like
he was ahead of his time, wasn't he? I mean, look, do you need your first team keeper playing against Dagenham and Redbridge? But they all just come back from bloody what was it, the San Siro, into Milan. He was used to a winter break, wasn't he? Yeah, I just feel like it was a clash of cultures. And it was held against him from him, wasn't he? But he was a good keeper. I liked him.
He never got back in, did he? I don't think.
I think the tail end of the season he did because he played at Newcastle when we drew 2-2 there, and they missed the pen right at the end, and he was like fist pumping. Yeah, I liked Serini.
I liked him as a goalkeeper as well. And Luton are releasing Sonny Bradley, obviously a one-time town target.
Yes.
Would you be going in for Sonny Bradley?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he can play the Keogh role this season. Yeah, absolutely.
You would be.
We said, didn't we, when going through players, like it's all well and good sort of picking out kids that might drop into the championship with us and they can go on the journey. But there's a reason they got Keogh in. It was to have a bit of leadership and a little bit of experience in the dressing room, and he's been released. Yeah, I mean, look, Sonny Bradley's like Luton through and through. They love him. If you read some of the stuff, he's like, this kind of like talismanic figure that we've said about Morsey. Get him in. He's only 32. He don't have to play every game, does he? But to have him around the side, and it's quite local to him. Don't discount the geography. I think he'd be a good signing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Cook wanted him, didn't he? It was one of the first signings he wanted, wasn't it? Of the 19.
It was very close as well.
Yeah, and he ended up. But yeah, apparently he's a very loyal figure, a leader of men. Apparently, so he's perfect for us. I think, even if it's just a season's deal or whatever it might be. Get accustomed in the championship. Someone who's been there, done it, seen a team get promoted. Go for it.
Yeah, a player not mentioned on the Discord this week, but was mentioned, and you say about experience, just makes me think of him. Yeah. Ex-Town, available on a free, Martin Waghorn. I'll just ask you that question. I'll let you respond to that. Martin Waghorn.
Well, me and Rich were chatting about Martin Waghorn. I always liked Martin Waghorn. It depresses me. He only done a season with us. Really good at corners, really good at set pieces. Yeah. We fell off a cliff, didn't we, after he left in terms of set pieces. I wonder how different our season could have been if he had stayed for Paul Hurst, but he never got replaced, did he?
He never did, no.
No.
He never did.
Yeah, I mean, look, a really good player, but look, we're going back. What are we thinking here? That's 2018, isn't it? That's 5 years ago. So he's what, 32, 33 now?
33. He played 10 starts, 24 games, 2 goals for Coventry with 1 big chance created, 0.5 key passes, and he had 0.8 shots per game. Listen, I'm not going to be told by people who tell me we need to sign Sonny Aluko for his experience that then don't tell me you wouldn't look at Martin. You wouldn't look at Martin Waghorn with the same eye, in the sense
well,
of
Waghorn is younger, right? Do you know we signed Jonathan Walters, didn't we? Do you remember? I mean, there is an argument there for bringing the experience, and he would absolutely tick the box. And I do recall he was a bit of a Connor Chaplin figure, wasn't he? He got very involved in the community, didn't he? Him and his wife, I seem to remember, even though he was only here for less than a year.
It's a no from me. It's a no from me. It's a no.
You wouldn't
go.
For
I'm
it.
not. I'm just not, because I'm not. I'm not somebody who subscribes to this. We must bring in experienced players to help with the dressing room. I mean, they're all professional football players. They've all gone through the trials and tribulations of being a professional football player.
Yeah.
And if you need somebody 34, 33, 35 cheerleading you 1-0 down at QPR,
I don't think you need someone who's a cheerleader, but in terms of people that have only played lower league football, Cameron Burgess being one of those, I feel like an experienced head. But I feel like the experienced head is a better fit in defence than it is in like an attacking midfield or a striker option. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But I expect an experienced head to come in at some point.
What do you think it brings, that experienced head? That, you know, what do you feel as a fan that it brings? That you feel you desire it.
Yeah, a calmness, someone to learn from. Again, someone who I think, you know, leadership around the training ground and being a good person is probably something that McKenna really likes. Hence, he got Keogh in. And I think you're probably more likely to see that with a Sonny Bradley style figure than you are probably someone who comes in midfield or in attack. But arguably, you've got Aluko there, and we know how much obviously McKenna likes Aluko because he's offered him a new deal. So maybe he'll just play that.
Or hasn't been announced that he signed it, along with obviously Massimo. Hasn't announced yet that those deals have been tied up, waiting for that to be announced sort of any day, really. I mean, given the
Cruncher said Burgess played in the Championship for Fulham. How many games was that then?
I can find out for you if you like.
But I would say you could count them on one hand potentially. But I mean, you know, it's a different story now, isn't it, for Burgess? Look, he's gone from Fulham, he's gone to Accrington, he's come to us. You know, there's an argument there whether or not he starts over Edmondson. We'll have to wait and see. He only got into the team because Edmondson was injured. But will Edmondson even be here in August? Don't know. I feel
4
like
games.
4. I mean, bloody hell, Rich. Talk about good straws. But I mean, look, he's done 4 games. That's 4 more than I have. We'll wait
4 more than I have as well.
We'll see. You know. I think probably that left side of the defence is one they'll be looking at without being experienced head, young lad. Your man cash in at Derby. I don't know. We'll find out very soon, I'm sure.
All right. And another talking point we've had this week on the Discord has been early championship predictions, right? Now, I asked you for yours. I'm going to tell you.
It's in June.
I know it's early for a reason, right? Okay. But there is the wonderful Discord, and there are mine. Ipswich naturally in first, Watford in second, my God. Leeds in third, Leicester in fourth.
You've only put Watford there because your father-in-law's Watford, didn't he?
Correct. Yeah. Although they took a mortgage out this week to buy for a boiler, I saw. Price of Football tweeted out, which, you know, is interesting. Wednesday in 6th, then bottom 3 in no order, but Norwich naturally,
of course,
Plymouth, and Queen's Park Rangers. So that was mine. That was a good conversation on Discord.
Just seeing that there, Lloyd. Listen, Chris at West Brom, my good friend, he'll bite your hand off a second, even because they could go down.
Yes, when he posted it, we'd have a good back and forth about. About those, but these are not locked in predictions. It's June. It's early.
It's all good.
Just thought it'd be a bit of fun.
Hold it against him. You won't have to eat humble pie like
you won't. You won't. But you have given me 6 names in no particular order. If you remember them, you tell them. What is your top 6 in no particular order?
I do think the champions will come from either Southampton or Leeds.
Okay.
I do. Just because they weren't good enough for the Premier League this season doesn't mean they ain't going to be good enough for the Championship. And I'd imagine if Leeds get a good... Well, actually, they're both managerless, right? I don't think Southampton have got someone else. It'd be very interesting to see who they bring in.
So I've got Leeds in 3rd, to be fair.
So
like,
fair enough.
It's good. It's good. Yeah,
I think I've put Leicester 3rd. Leicester are going to be an unknown quantity because they've got huge money issues. But the fact is, Leicester come to the Championship. They start recruiting players out of the Championship or lower end Premier League. or even someone out of League One, the fact that you've won the FA Cup, you've won the Premier League in the last inside the last decade, 7 years, I think it's going to be a very big pull. I do feel Ipswich will be a big pull just because of where we are. People have seen what we've been doing, the game changer stuff, the ownership, the wages we can pay. I mean, you put all that together, I think Ipswich will be a big pull. But the fact that they've won trophies, they've won the Premier League, they've won the FA Cup, they've won the big trophies. I think there'll be a pull. And I still don't know what they're going to be like. If they can put together a semi-decent squad, again, with a decent manager, whether or not that's going to be Smith or not, I don't know. I think they'll probably do all right. I imagine Carrick and Borough will be good again. I mean, look, he only had half a season, took him from bottom 3 to the top 6.
Yeah.
I expect that to happen again. I think Sunderland, listen, they're owned by that lad whose dad owns Marseille, wherever it was. I think they're going to have a lot of spending power behind them, and they've proved that they could go from League One into 6th. I think they'll be there and thereabouts. I expect us to be there and thereabouts. Now, whether or not I think we'll be pushing for 6th. I said to Lewis Robertson on WhatsApp yesterday, we were chatting. By the way, hope his daughter is feeling better. I know she's been poorly this week and he's had a lot of love from everyone. I feel like we'll be in that mix for 6 with probably a Coventry, a Millwall, a Blackburn, and whoever else it might be. But look,
obviously Southampton,
days, right? If we can get 6,
absolutely. Yeah. Southampton are chasing, obviously, Russell Martin. They're just trying to agree. I've seen so many different tweets about Southampton are trying to agree a compensation fee as a Premier League to a Championship because the fee's different. Like crazy.
Why don't they just keep hold? What's his face? Hasenhuttl. Let's keep him. As Rich said, why don't we just keep Hurst in the end? You would be no better off, would you? You've gone down anyway with a multitude of managers. I mean, they got that Nathan Jones in, didn't they? Who's only seems to have been successful at Luton. Yeah. See where he rocks up.
There you go. And my bottom 3 were Norwich, Plymouth, and QPR. You've got Plymouth, Rotherham, and Cardiff.
Yeah, but I think you can probably throw in Huddersfield in there.
You do.
Listen, I think you can throw Sheffield Wednesday in there if they don't start recruiting younger players. That is an aging squad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and they've got promoted by the skin in their teeth. I mean, look, fair play to them, right? If you finish on 96 points, you deserve to go up, and they did. Although on the day, I feel like Barnsley did. But look, over a course of 46 games, I think probably Sheffield Wednesday deserved it. But that is an aging squad, and there's a lot of work to be done there. And I think their fans probably realise that. You can't throw your hat on Barry Bannon next season, can you? He pulled up with cramp in the extra time of the playoff, you know. So they could be down there. Don't discount that. But I think, probably. I can't see Rotherham doing much next season. I think Cardiff could be down there. I think QPR could be down there. I don't think Ainsworth's a Championship manager for me. I don't think Norwich will be down there, but hopefully they'll be floating.
Hopefully floating. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So that's the early one. Again, another conversation you could have got on Discord this week. So do hit the join button, become a member, and welcome to the Talking Town community. Never stops. Lots going on over there. Right. Predictions, talking of which, we did do some last year. I've got yours here. Here are yours. I've got 26 likes right now for the YouTube. If I get to 50 likes by the time we finish this, I will show the crunches. He's not here, but we can pick them. We can pick them apart if we can get 25 more likes.
It'll be raging in roads.
If we get 110 plus more people. So you had it finishing 4th.
Are you sure about this? I'm sure I said 3rd, but okay.
You may have said 3rd on the show, but when I sent out this template to you on WhatsApp, to Rich, to Lewis, to Tux, to various others, this is what the information came back. You had 4th, okay. Ladapo on 15.
Close.
Posh's League One, yeah, he was close. Posh's League One champions.
Yeah, I overestimated them, didn't I? Overestimated them. Yeah, I just thought like coming down from the Championship, you got your Jack Taylors, you got your Johnson Clark Harrises. I feel like they recruited quite well. I thought they were better. They got off to a really bad start, didn't they? That probably didn't help them. I mean, it was a surprise in the end to me that they actually got into the playoffs, I suppose. But well, I mean, bloody hell, they should have got to the final. You were 4-0 up. But there you go.
They were.
I just expected them to have a better season than what they did, and there you go. Didn't manage it.
You had Wednesday as runners-up. Ipswich as playoff winners.
Yeah, well, it was round the other way, wasn't it? In the end.
It was.
I mean, Sheffield Wednesday only got themselves to blame, right? They blew a huge lead.
They did.
And we capitalised on that. Why I thought it should be League One playoff winners. I mean, if there's any club that was going to blow up, having just missed out on automatic promotion, probably would have been us. Would have been us, I think, maybe. But I mean, maybe not this in this era, maybe. But we'll come to that in some of the games we're going to discuss in a minute. And then relegated from League One. Surely I've got all these right. Morecambe went down.
So you've got Port Vale, Cheltenham, Fleetwood, and Morecambe.
Actually,
The bottom
just
three were
Morecambe I
Forest
got.
Green, Accrington, Morecambe, and MK Dons.
See, now I said to Rich swayed me here. I said to him, Forest Green would go down. He goes, no, they'll stay up. That's his fault. I thought they would go down.
As if you're blaming Rich. As if you're actually.
Yeah, that's his fault. I had
Rich.
Forest Green. He said, no, they'll stay up. Don't worry about that. They'll stay up. I should have trusted my own instincts, really. Yeah, no one had Plymouth, did they? Who had Plymouth?
No one had Plymouth. Nobody.
We
all. You didn't have Forest Green on your bottom four. You thought they were going to survive.
Well, because the cruncher swayed me. MK Dons. I mean, look, bloody hell. We say a week's a long time in football. Years a long time in football. You just miss out on second by what? Goal difference? A point, 2 points? Following season? Down.
8 more likes and I'll show Rich's, because I think he might have led you down the garden path there, Matthew, because I've got a feeling on he might have Forest Green in his bottom four. So he's persuaded you to go away from Forest.
He certainly said to me, certainly after they'd been to Forest Green and we just beat them narrowly, didn't we? 2-1. The Harness and Moulsey goals. He said, they'll stay up. They'll stay up. I was like, really? Yeah.
There you go, you see. There you go. But you got the Ladapo one fairly right.
Oh, the Ladapo was, I mean, look, I would say 15 minimum, really. I mean, look, he could have added to that total, couldn't he? It's only because of Hurst coming in January that he kind of got relegated to the bench. But I think Hurst coming in, we used to say, didn't we? Ladapo off the bench wasn't very good, but actually he scored a bulk of goals off the bench in the end, didn't he? In that kind of last 15 games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you called the Ladapo one really well, to be fair. And
I mean, that was kind of probably par for him in League One. I think he's a very good League One striker. Now, he scored, 9 or 10 for Rotherham when he last played in the Championship. Now, whether or not he's going to get the opportunity to do that for us, I don't know. Depends who we bring in. And if Hurst comes in, you've got to think Hurst is going to be starting and Freddie's going to be on the bench. But who knows? But he's done a serious amount of games in the Championship and scored double figures, or thereabouts.
Yeah, there you go. Right, we're 3 away, so I'm going to call it. I'm going to play the card.
Well.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to say 3 people have meant to hit the like button but have gotten lost in finding the little thumbs up. Can happen. Hope you find your way back to Talking Town soon. But here is now. Please let Forest Green be there. Otherwise, I've not read it right. But here's the Crunchers. Oh, look, it was. So he had us in 4th. He had Ladapo on 17, which he'll now never stop talking about. We will now forever and a day hear about him saying Ladapo 17.
Well done.
Wednesday as champions. Everyone to a man, Matt, had Posh overrated. All the predictions have Posh either as champions, runner-up, or playoff.
But they were very good, weren't they? In their promotion to the Championship, they were very good, weren't they? And Johnson Clark Harris scored 30 plus goals. They were really formidable force. But I mean, I suppose they went through a bit of turmoil, didn't they? They got rid of Ferguson off the back end of the Championship. Then Darragh went to his other trusty aide, Grant McCann. They lose at ours and he gets the elbow, and then Ferguson's back. It's a bit of a weird roundabout, that, isn't it? But there we go.
It is. He had Forest Green in his bottom 4, along with Morecambe, but he didn't have. Yeah, he had Cheltenham and Exeter, and both were well clear. Well clear in the end. So again,
Exeter were no great shakes last day of the season, weren't they? I thought the FA Cup final was going to be like that Exeter game yesterday. You score after 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Quickest goal ever. I was there for the first when Saha scored the goal after 25 seconds. We all said this will never be beaten. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't think that Gundogan goal will ever be. I don't think that will ever be beaten now.
Neither will Mark Goldbridge's reaction.
Goldbridge, man. If you've not seen it, go on Twitter. He's like, he's giving it big licks. Within 13 seconds, he's crying.
Oh, City. Oh, City. 30. As somebody said, the fact you know it's coming doesn't make it any less funny or happy.
What makes me chuckle, though, is like this is Manchester United he's talking about. Anyone think he was like supporting bloody, I don't know, Bromley in the conference or Forest Green Rovers in League One, do you know what I mean? Or Hartlepool or somebody. It's actually Man United. You'd have thought they were the worst team in the world.
Yeah. Surprisingly, you both had playoff winners, Ipswich.
Well, this is past experience, isn't it? We knew we had a bit of money behind us, and we knew that probably top 2's generally something that would go pear-shaped. But Sheffield Wednesday did it for us instead.
They did. They did.
Let's not ever forget the fact that when I always think back to this, when Kieran after Lincoln, the 1-1 Cameron comes on, scores that little bit of a diving header. We were against 10 men, weren't we? Gave the penalty away, and he said it's going to take a hell of an effort to get out of this division. I was thinking, bloody hell, we ain't going to get out of this division. But it was those last 15 games, wasn't it? The 47 goals, whatever it was. Nearly half our goals come in those last 15 games. That was what he alluded to.
Which leads me nicely on to the last portion of the show, where we're not going to do a season review in the traditional sense of month by month. We're going to do 5 games or 5 fixtures that we feel defined our season. Matt's going to take his turn this week. I will do next week because I want to spread this over 2 shows if I can. Why, I hear you ask at home? Because I want you
We're trying to kill time.
No, I want you. Yeah, I am that as well. But
that is the main one, right?
Shush, Matthew. Don't tell the people at home the secrets of the trade. They think we're professional. No,
really?
Anyway, no, they really don't. No. But I want you at home to get involved. I want you to tell me your 5 fixtures that you feel defined the season, and you'll see what we mean as we go through this last portion. But do get them in, tweet them, get them on the Discord. I'll set a thread up after the show, or email them. There's an email in the description of this show, but it's homedressroommate@gmail.com. Email them, and I'll get as many as I can on next week's show. I just want to see how people see the season from a 5 games that defined us. Can be any reason why you think it defined it. It could be good, bad, indifferent, but you'll see as we go through. But your first fixture, Matt, might be on quite a few people's first fixtures. What is your first fixture, and why is this your first fixture?
So I've got my first fixture is Derby at home when we played in the all black strip on Sky. So that was one of the reasons I chose that. The fact we was on Sky, do you remember everyone saying?
Yeah.
God, we've got to play them. It was a Friday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Friday night on Sky. I feel like why was this defining? We'd already gone to Plymouth, hadn't we? And we'd taken the lead then. We'd lost 2-1. I don't know, just everything about this game, a team that was coming down from the Championship. It was on Sky. It was a Friday night. Packed crowd. It felt like there was a lot of stake. And there was it was huge coverage in national media leading up to this. I mean, I seem to recall Ashton was on TalkSport, for example, leading into this game. It just felt like one of the biggies to me. Could this team, I think it was probably about second at this point. I don't think we were top. I think Plymouth were top and we were second. And it was like, I think if we'd not won this game, I think maybe we were catchable for Sheffield Wednesday and would have dropped down into third. And I think there was so many questions about this. We've fronted up some money with the summer signings. You know, are we serious about promotion? We've already failed at Plymouth. They've beaten us 2-1. Can we get over the line on TV where, you know, the Cole Fuller book, 10 on the telly? You know, we've not had a great record on Sky. Could we do it? And in the end, actually, it was such a fine line, wasn't it? In the fact that Caden Jackson reads the back pass. Right? Well, he does. But before then, he reads the back pass from Curtis Davis and makes the goal for, I think it hit the post, didn't it? And then it comes to Wes, and Wes taps it home.
Yeah.
Cue absolute scenes. I don't know. It just felt like, you know, you've beaten someone that is probably going to be top 6, as it was. They actually just missed out, didn't they? But
yeah,
I don't know. It just felt a lot was at stake. The first defining game at Pullman Road of the season is what I was thinking. I
agree. You had Paul Warne in charge of Derby for the very early days of Paul Warne, who obviously is the champion, the League One, Superman. Derby, team relegated from the year before, but due to a financial penalty. So, you know, they were in a bit of a mess, but they picked themselves up in terms of the transfer windows, McGoldrick and co. And yeah, I do agree. On Sky, in the iconic third strip, it seemed like is it a town of old moment, or is this a new town emerging? And obviously, you mentioned Plymouth. That was the last game on Sky, 2-1 defeat. You're absolutely right on there. The last home game before this game was Lincoln, 1-0, the defeat. So it just felt, I completely agree that it just felt that little bit like if something was building, it has to start building in bigger moments than, you know, than no disrespect, Cambridge at home or. Yeah,
we probably, I mean, look, on the back of this game, we probably lost the momentum in the end, didn't we? Because we went to Port Vale after and won 3-2. And don't forget, we blew the 2-goal lead there. and then the game after that was Charlton. And we all know
will anyone have that as their defining game of the season?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I mean, you could say that as I wouldn't say you call it. It was very much a moment of the season. In the end, it didn't define the season. I think if we finished in the playoffs and finished third, fourth, or whatever, and actually not even got promoted, you'd probably look at that as the defining game of the season. So fair play to everybody for getting over that kind of disabling mindset of being 4-2 up and drawing 4-4. But you know, I think oh look, being Frankie's in the house. Hi Frank.
He loves the show.
Enjoying it?
And we love you, Frank. Got a couple of comments coming in. We've got €5 from David. Thanks very much, David. Appreciate that super chat. Follow his great lead, people. Do appreciate it. Charlton away, says Phil. Wednesday home, Derby home, Exeter home, Port Vale home, says Phil. Rob says Bolton and Derby, Charlton, Exeter, Portsmouth. And Dom says one of the things for me was we had given up second place. It had gone.
Yeah. I was talking about 7th or 8th.
Yeah. Your second game on the list.
Yeah.
What is it, Matthew?
Is it Sheffield Wednesday?
It certainly is.
It is, yeah. The 2-2. Listen.
The 2-2.
This game. Well, I mean, look, there's highs and lows to this game, right? So the reason why I think this is kind of actually, I do think this is the season-defining game of the season because we are 2-0 down. I was very depressed. I sat in my seat. I'm slumped. I've probably got my hood up, you know, and we're 2 down. And then Smith is through. All you got to do is get around Walton for 3-0. Now, you always talk about sliding door moments, don't you, Martin? The sliding door moment. This is a huge sliding door moment, I think, in the history of our club. Because if Michael Smith has gone round, made it 3-0, we're done for. I think we're absolutely done for. And I think Sheffield Wednesday would have won the title. You're 3-0 up at Pullman Road at half-time. As it is, he's got a terrible touch. But it's like, as I've said before, it's like me with a beach ball down at Walton on the nose. It's blown over towards the touchline, and we get away with one. Then what happens after that? The emergence of Broadhead.
The needle mover.
We've got the free kick. I'm still sat there looking all morose and that. And then no one knew that he had that. I mean, what a goal. What a finish. In off the bar. Looks even better than it off the bar. And then obviously their keeper, was it Dawson? Clearly a bit dodgy from free kicks because Leaf whacks one in, doesn't he, in the second half, as you got on the screen there. 51st minute. And don't forget, we've missed the penalty at this point as well, haven't we? Connor.
Yep, it was
Connor's
Dawson. Yeah, we have. Yep, he has.
Forgot about that. Connor, the man you'd throw your hat on. Post this, of course, but you know,
19th minute penalty as well.
He'd had a bit of history, hadn't he, in terms of missing pens. He'd missed one at Morecambe, I think it was. And then Lee Evans stepped up in the same game, didn't he, and scored from the spot. So I feel like there was a lot in this game. You know, it was a defining season, it's a defining 90 minutes for Sheffield Wednesday, because I feel like at 3-0, they probably would have gone on and, you know, losing at Forest Green would never have happened, and they'd have had all the momentum. As it was, suddenly the momentum slightly, because we're going to come to my next game after this, came back to us. But yeah, I think that probably put a little seed of doubt in Sheffield Wednesday's minds, because no doubt their fans thought they were going home with a win at 2-0. And then suddenly pops up and gets it back to 2-1, and we end up 2-2. Yeah,
you're right, Matt. The Smith's touch, being as heavy as he was passing it off a wall, is just phenomenally good for our season. Because even when after we all scrambled back and Walton makes the save, you can hear the jeers in the North Stand. You can hear the jeers around the stadium.
I remember Budge saying to us, there was booing in the North Stand. People getting well pissed off. And thankfully, Broadhead stepped up and scored that free kick. And, you know, at the end of the day, maybe that free kick was, you know, that's why we paid the $1.5 million or whatever it is going to be for promotion, 2 million plus now. He probably earned it in just that split second to score that goal. He probably earned his transfer fee there because it gave us the lifeline.
Modern football is all about characters, all about moments. And if you want a moment, you've got Connor Chaplin missing a penalty on 19 minutes to go 1-0 up. You then go 2-0 down. You then have an opportunity to go 3-0 down. You've not been in the greatest form leading up to this game. Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah, post-Charlton was terrible. The form was terrible. As we said before, McKenna was lucky to survive that. And I feel like because he was their guy. If he was Lambert or Cook, you'd have been gone.
But, you know, the month leading up to that, you beat Morecambe at home 4-0. You lost to Oxford. You drew at Plymouth, last-minute equaliser against Plymouth, and what was a big game for people. You drew with Lincoln. You drew at Portsmouth. I mean, I said at the time.
That Portsmouth result, didn't you?
I'll say today, disgusting. That is on my 5. I'm not even going to pretend it ain't on my 5 because that's it's disgusting.
It's your 5 negative.
No. I've just weaved the tapestry of a story in my 5.
Yeah.
But you had this could have been 3-0 down. I remember texting you two in the WhatsApp group saying this has got the hallmarks of the Hutchinson post Paul Jewell 3-0 mauling. It's not going. Yeah, it's not going well at all.
That was Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it? 3-0.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're right.
And whenever I hear the song by David Guetta, Titanium, that played as kickoff was about to start at Portman Road that day. And I still think of that day when I hear that song. But you then get a free kick, 42nd minute, 43rd minute, Nathan Broadhead. Never taken a free kick, they say. Even in training, didn't take a free kick. Up he steps, the needle mover.
Shows how good he is, yeah.
And drags your whole football club off its backside.
Great bit of recruitment. Look, we'd seen him, hadn't we, for Sunderland against us, and he'd scored. And he'd been under the radar a little bit at Wigan, where he was having a fairly good season. Then surprisingly, comes in at ours. And what a goal. What's a goal? Yeah. Great, though. Great. Love it.
Absolutely. But even at that point, 2-2, you've got the point in the bank. You've still got a long way to go. And your next game is the game directly after that. And if I said to you directly after this game here, Matthew, that Town will go on to finish in second place ahead of Wednesday, having just seen your captain demonstrate with his fans, you'd have called me nuts.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about in this game, wasn't there? I remember you saying, what kind of club that's going to get promoted has the captain rowing with the away fans at the end of the 90 minutes? This was terrible. I mean, look, I'm trying to be positive, but this, I mean, anyone who can take a positive out of this game, I mean, the fact McKenna went, Joey Barton's apologised to me after the game. I mean, give me a break. Come on. They could play whatever tactics they want. They don't have to go toe-to-toe with us. This was the game where I felt to myself, I say to myself, I actually said it on the show, we are going to get promoted on these tactics. And we'll come to the next game in a minute, and that proved out to be right. There was huge alarm bells to me after this game. You know, we couldn't break them down. We had so many chances. We dominated the possession. Probably could have even lost the game. And I just felt to me that we were not going to get promoted playing in this style. And thankfully, McKenna recognised that. Now, Richard's always said to me, what happened between Bristol Rovers away and Forest Green Rovers at home that suddenly changed up our season and we scored nearly 50% of our goals in the last 15 games? Maybe it was an eye-opening moment. Maybe there was a coming together of management and players, and you know they all agreed that this was not the way to go forward. And you saw a very different Ipswich Town, didn't you? I mean, the Ipswich that went in the away games that followed. When we went to Derby, when we went to Bolton, when we went to MK Dons, very, very different performances from this. It was just like it's possession for the sake of possession. I sound like the Spanish media after the World Cup. Possession for the sake of it.
And Cruncher sort of nails it on the head. Chaplin and Broadhead. So Broadhead, the guy who sort of spearheaded you back from the last game you played.
Goal at Sheffield Wednesday, right?
Is then sat on the bench. That's like dropping George Hurst after Barnsley. Nonsense.
Yeah. It was. I had really lost faith in Kieran at this point. Do you blame me for losing faith in McKenna at this point?
Not when you.
These are weird decisions, right? Now we're here at the end of the season.
Yeah, because
I really wanted Kieran to be successful. I was really behind Hurst coming into Ipswich. Young manager, done all right in League One, comes up and steps up. But this night, to me, just since to me, he's too stubborn on his tactics. He's been rotating the squad for no reason. If you said there was two players of the year this year, Chaplin, and if Baldhead had 46 games, he'd probably be player of the year as well. And them two started the game on the bench. So that was it for me. I probably kind of maybe hastily lost faith in Kieran, but there's no doubt in the 15 games that follow, he suddenly found himself as a manager, I think. And we saw a team that wasn't rotating. We saw players come into their own. We saw a much quicker way forward. But maybe this Bristol Rovers game, we needed the Bristol Rovers game in order to break that door down, in order to find that promotion that eventually saw us score 45 plus goals in the second half of the season.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you read in months and years to come that after this night, Kieran McKenna stuck a poster on the wall that said, "What do you want to be as a football team?" Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because the scenes afterwards, the scenes leading in terms of chop changing, like it just felt like this moment where in a TV series, before the character arc makes its way back round, it's what do you actually want to be? What do you want to do with this season? Because you've got an opportunity to do something, or we can carry on drifting, because we were drifting. Let's be brutally fair.
They always say it's the darkest before the dawn, and the dawn followed, didn't it? But this, I mean, I was thinking to myself, we ain't going to be top. I mean, look, me and Rich both said on the show. Rich said, if you think we're going to be top 2, you're mad. And I was like, I feel like McKenna's done. Let's get somebody in who knows League One, because we did not play that game very well at all.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
The only game last year I did not watch was this. It was Valentine's Day. I spent the night with my wife.
It was Valentine's, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
And then when I logged on to see that our captain and that the scenes that you've got pictured on the screen there had happened, the wheels were off, and I just could not remember a promotion chasing team having a scene like that. Normally, I say for a relegation battle where your captain and the fans are at each other.
There's lots of moments like that. If you look back, like I said to you, didn't I? I said, what top 2 teams ever gone? Do you remember we dropped that 2-goal lead, the 4-2 lead at Charlton, but still got promoted?
Do I remember it? I still have nightmares about it, son.
No one, you very rarely hear these stories, but I mean, I don't know. The fact that Ipswich could be facing another season in League One after that game was just too much for me to take. We love the club too much, Look, we've been here long before Kieran was here, and we'll be here long after Kieran has gone on and done whatever he ends up going on to do. And I hope it's great things for him. But yeah, it's always the fans are left with it, aren't they? It's what we said like the other week when Luton got the -30 from the FA. Them owners are buggered off already. It was the fans that were left with it. We're the evergreens. We'll always be here. And the fact that, we could have to do another League One campaign. You'd have to be playing the Orient. You'd have to be playing Carlisle. You'd have to be playing Northampton. I said to Lewis on the WhatsApp yesterday, isn't it great to be talking about Southampton, Leicester, Leeds, the Old Farm Derby? Yeah. You're not having to play your Forest Greens anymore. That's where we need to be as par as a club. Always should be in the top 2 divisions, this club.
I didn't think we would make the playoffs after the Rovers away game.
No,
Definitely
a lot of people thought that.
Away day. Rob says, thank goodness that Charlton away didn't cost us promotion.
Yeah.
It didn't, but it could have cost us a title.
Very close. It's only 2 points in the end, wasn't it? And it's only because Sheffield Wednesday dropped off the cliff, opened the door for us. Hey, look, come on through, Ipswich. Gave us the opportunity. But I mean, look, that's how it panned out. As we always say, it's a 46-game season. It ain't across 23 games or 30 games. Rich says that. It's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it? To be a cliche.
It is. Forest, so your next game is the one you mentioned it a second ago, but what is it?
Yeah, the Forest Green. This was perfect. The fixture calendar was perfect to Ipswich. So you've gone through the Sheffield Wednesday game where we've clawed it back. You've gone to Bristol Rovers, who've been absolutely terrible, and everyone's arguing themselves, and we feel like the season's ending. So who do you want as the perfect opposition to try and get some confidence back, to try something different, to try a few little different formations or a little bit of different passing exchange? The worst team that's ever graced League One. Forest Green Rovers. I mean, bleeding neck. This is probably the worst team we've played at Pullman Road in 30 years. And I'm counting Avamere Began, we beat 8-1 in that. At least they scored a worldy header in that game.
Yeah.
When we got into the UEFA Cup through fair play. They were just terrible, Forest Green. Although I'll give them kudos for their away kit, that pink and black. I thought that was a cool kit. But it was perfect. This was the start of that run, didn't we? When we said we're the only team in the top 6, whatever, had not won 3 or 4 games on the trot. And this was the perfect fixture to start that. And I feel like this probably allowed us to experiment a little bit in terms of look, Broadhead and Chaplin in the back end. Look, Chaplin scored within 3 minutes. And we're 3-0 up at half time. I don't know. It was just, it was like Kismet, really. We're coming off the back of a really poor result, Bristol Rovers, where we're arguing amongst ourselves. Who do we play next? Sheffield, Plymouth? No, we'll give you the team that's right bottom of the table, practically relegated already. New manager in Duncan Ferguson at the helm. It was perfect. I do feel like this was the catalyst game that kick-started the fantastic run of 15 matches where we basically creamed everybody, didn't we? But we didn't lose, did we? Well, we draw with Cheltenham, that was it. And Fleetwood on the last day.
Obviously, Sir Bobby Robson's 90th birthday. We had the reflaying at the start.
We had all the claps. Yeah, it was great.
My way before the kickoff. And just the people will say, but Wednesday wouldn't say that after being beaten by Forest Green. Yeah, but on paper, you had the kindest fixture you could have possibly had.
Yeah, absolutely. Really... At home to try and get your confidence back. We needed a shot in the arm after Bristol Rovers, and we got it here. We got it here, and it was, it was a knife through butter, weren't it? And I really do feel like this was the start of trying something a little bit different. It wasn't that we noticeably got the ball forward quicker.
Yes, but Ben says,
Yeah, we know that was noticeable in the last 15 games of the season. Bloody hell, what was was it the Bolton game or the Bolton or Derby game where Walton to the goal was 11 seconds?
Bolton, I think,
yeah, we hadn't done that in any of the away games, did we? I mean, that was unthinkable against Bristol Rovers to be able to put that run together. Look, Ben Moore here, look, my second game back. So it meant a lot to him. But I feel like that it just allowed McKenna and Pert and the coaching staff to maybe think about something a little bit different. And then that set a new blueprint that we saw in that final third of the season. And thank God they had the mindset to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben says we scored in the 78th minute on Bobby's day. Well, I got the score off BBC Sport, so they put 79. So I'm that's why it's got 79. But I'm happy to say it's 78th, and
we hit the post, didn't we, in the 90th? Because it was his 90th birthday. We hit the post, didn't we? I remember Colin saying to me, "Did he scored in the 90th as well?"
We did. And your last game that you feel has defined Ipswich Town's 2022-2023 season, Matthew Phillips.
God,
if we couldn't already guess, I'm sure as people.
Oh, did I put Exeter?
No, you didn't.
I didn't put Exeter.
It was.
But Barnsley, of course, isn't it? Yeah, obviously.
Barnsley.
The night. I'm so pleased you got to that game. I was thinking about this earlier. I was so pleased you got to that game because it was like you were 50-50 about going to that, weren't you? And then suddenly you just dropped everything and went.
I did.
And the fact that you were there and Colin was there and AD Croucher was on the TV, just a lot of people around the Talking Town community and Ipswich Town community, I thought was fantastic. You was all there. I mean, Jesus Christ, I think I drank a whole bottle of wine in the first half. This is how much this game meant to me. I was on this very seat here, jumping up and down in the Man from Del Monte hat.
There you go.
Celebrating those goals. I mean, it was perfect, wasn't it? 44 and 45. So we scored twice in 60 seconds.
We did.
I mean, it just felt like this was the promotion game to me.
It did. Yeah. With the two coming up that we had, you certainly felt.
Because Barnsley giving it the big one, hadn't they? They've done the Twitter, hadn't they, or something? Look, I'm not on Twitter anymore because
we've been ready for like 7 weeks.
Yeah,
whatever.
www. They won all the games at Oakwell.
Who's next?
Yeah, we've literally body slammed them into the mat, unconscious.
I was about to say we didn't give them a chance, but we did. They had their moment. They had their 20 minutes at the start of the game.
It was always comfortable, I felt. Look, we could have scored in the very first minute. Do you remember? Broadhead had a chance in the very first minute to actually score. Or he put a ball across. Someone had a chance in the very first few seconds.
George Hurst had an opportunity that in person looked like he could have done better with than on the replay suggests he was. But it never felt. I know I can't speak for Rich, but I know for myself, it didn't feel comfortable for me. I felt they were in control. We were chasing the ball, couldn't get hold of it.
It was like going back to Derby. Again, it felt like big stakes. Now the stakes were, but in the Derby game, it felt like, can we beat someone in order to cement second place? This was like, can we win this game to be promoted? What was it? Exeter was the final game off the back of this.
Yeah.
And look, they stepped up. It was fantastic. Again, polar opposite to what we saw at Bristol Rovers. It kick-started with Forest Green. I mean, 2 goals in a minute at Barnsley. I mean, what a statement. I mean, it was the corner came over, wasn't it? The near post corner and Broadhead nods it in, and no one knows it's gone in until he starts celebrating.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you've watched this goal back 100 times plus. Hurst, Anderson, arms Anderson off. And what a shot. I mean, Jesus. Look, I don't drink a bottle of wine in 45 minutes for nobody.
Not just any old defender, League One Centre Half of the Year defender. Like, he's treated him like he was a rug rat. He's pushed him off. Get off me.
Yeah. I mean, what a finish. What a finish. Great. One of the goals of the season. Then we miss a pen. Broadhead misses the pen. Although I felt like when he was over it, I did feel like he would miss it. And then Chaplin called as a cucumber, the little lob over the keeper, and it's job done. What a performance. What a performance. A championship promotion ready performance. I give credit to everybody involved in it. McKenna, right through to Ashton and the signings and everybody involved in the coaching staff. It was one of the pivotal moments of being an Ipswich Town fan. If you were there, like you were, fantastic. If you was watching on TV like me and thousands of others around the globe, we was just as much as part of it, really.
Yeah. And once that second goal went in, you did firmly believe this was a different town, different time. This is our moment, as it was. Yeah. And Yeah, Rich says in his top 10 town games of all time. It's certainly in mine as well. Just the best, one of the best I've been to in many, many years. And if I said to you earlier,
proper Lins.
Even more so because
Watford
obviously 45 plus 2 was half time near enough. So it was like the steps erupted with these people just piling out from downstairs where they're buying their beers. They hadn't even seen the game or the goal rather, but they were celebrating wildly. It was a magic moment.
These moments have been few and far between. We're one of the only clubs that have not had these moments in the last 20 odd. Look, considering we got relegated from the Premier League in what, 01? Treading water in the Championship, going nowhere, get relegated, can't get back. So for a good 2 decades, we've done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just got the big name in the history. And then suddenly you're seeing history play out in front of itself. And these are moments like you'll never forget that now. No. Where we don't forget like going to Wembley and beating Barnsley, ironically, 4-2. You've now gone to Oakwell and see us win 3-0, and practically you've got a whole foot in the Championship. All you've got to do is see off Exeter on the beach in the following game, and you're there. So these were history-making, club-defining moments that we've not seen for a generation. I've not seen it for 20 plus years. You've not seen it at all. And people like Josh Russell saying, "Is this what success feels like?" The answer is yes. You've not seen it. You've been starved of it.
Arguably, 2 of my best ever games have come against Barnsley. Funny that.
Weird, isn't it? Thank God for Barnsley.
Thank God for Barnsley.
Good luck next season, Tykes. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And as we said earlier, this was a TV series and you had that character arc. And the question was at your lowest, what do you want to be? This was them resoundingly answering what they wanted to be. They were a hungry, tenacious, driven team that in the end, when the chips needed to be brought off the table, they certainly brought the whole fucking thing and they were there, all in, cashing those chips at the end. It was just beautiful.
It's still an unanswered question, isn't it? I'll be saying what happened between Bristol Rovers and Forest Green and the games that follow, in order for that style of play, that confidence, the quicker football, there's no stat padding. I'd love to know whether or not the local paper will ask that question for us when the new season starts. I don't know. I hope they do because I would like to know.
I can tell you what my eyes saw, and that's a hungry bunch of 11 men, players, just hungry. At half time, 2-0 up. Some players sort of celebrating with the away crowd. Some players getting them in that dressing room. Like they were just hungry. Hungry players, and to a point where I've not seen it in many, many years. That sort of tenacious.
You've not seen it
to the point where Exeter, I was honestly just waiting for the promotion to be confirmed. It was almost like I knew I was leaving on this boat. It was a matter of when this boat departs the dock, not if, because I'd watched them at Barnsley, hungry. Watched them at Posh, hungry. Seen them against Bolton, hungry. Derby, hungry. Like they'd been so tenaciously hungry that Exeter at home could have been Barcelona, and you honestly I would have felt that they were not going to be stopped. This was a group that weren't going to be denied.
All those games you've just mentioned there as well, clean sheets.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I mean, look, like I say, we'd been deprived of that as a fan base. I mean, look, think back to when McGoldrick left the club and he said, what did he say? Oh, there were people in the dressing room that weren't bothered about winning. No, what? These people coming from, people who sit behind me, they travel in from Surrey. Don't get home from Saturday nights until like 8:15 in the evening on a 3 o'clock kickoff. People putting in hard yards because the club means so much to them. And suddenly you saw that mirrored in all of these games as we suddenly get the promotion. And, I'm so pleased for everybody that all of us as a collective have got Championship football to look forward to, because that's our par in English football. That's our status. Should never be outside the top 2.
Absolutely.
Never again.
Agreed. And there we go. There are Matt Phillips's 5 fixtures that defined the Ipswich Town's 22-23 season. I've got a few others to add next week, but we want to hear from you guys and girls. Email, Twitter, get them in the Discord. I'll create a thread in just a moment for you to drop them in. We'll go through as many. If you've got others, if you feel like Matt's missed a couple off, or you've obviously not heard mine yet, but let us know what 5 fixtures defined your season, for whatever reason it might well be. But yeah, this has been Talking Town, the penultimate one of the 22-23 season.
What are we going to do when we've got a little break? Well,
I'm going to go to Cos.
You're on holiday.
I'm going to go to Cos.
Enjoy a good break.
There'll be like 3 Sundays where we haven't got a talk in town, but there'll be a fixture release show still coming out on the 22nd, which I'll be producing from my holiday with my feet up, the sangria in my hand. Hola. I know I'm going to Cos, but I don't know any Greek.
Well, they'll do it there, surely.
Even though I was learning it, I don't actually know any of it. But yeah, so we've got next Sunday, and then we're back on the 2nd. It's actually only 2, so we're back on the 2nd of July. So, there you go. You know what's going on. But this has been Talking Town. He's the man from Del Monte, minus the hat. I'm the Gov. Hope Rich is behind the Factor 50 after sun.
Yeah. Oh, the after
he needs that after sun, so that's what he needs.
We got burnt. We got burnt in the fan zone at Exeter, didn't we? So God knows what it's like in Rhodes.
Oh, I wish I had Twitter up right now because I would just go for that picture. Just let the world see that you can fry an egg on his forehead. Let's be honest. It looked red. Poor Rich. We love you. We hope you're having a great time though, Rich. Don't forget to bring back some Racky. But yeah, we're done. We're dusted. See you all next Sunday. Adios.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. Oh, yes, lover. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Oh, yes, lover. Oh, please, lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair.